Thank you.
Appreciate you coming, brother.
Yeah, stoked to be here.
I don't know a damn thing about you. Obviously, he does. So I guess if you want to give like a little bit of an overview, what's going on, where you're from.
I'm Blaise Turcato from Laramie, Wyoming. 5'1". No, I'm 5'5".
I was gonna say, no way you're that short. My mom's 5 flat.
Yeah, no, I'm a shorter guy, but it's all good. Yeah, that's about it. I play drums. And that's how I know this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you from Laramie?
Yeah, born and raised.
Are you? What year did you graduate? High school?
2011.
2011.
Yeah, I didn't graduate college. I dropped out. Yeah.
Right on, me too.
Yeah.
Well, I was asked to leave.
I still got an associate's at LCCC, and then I transferred to UW, and then I left UW. So
For sure. What were you going to school to study? You said some sort of digital.
Yeah, I was doing graphic design and like digital media kind of stuff, and then like pretty much ever since I left so I could do more video stuff, which is funny because like I could have just done it there, but I mean the jobs were like I was doing stuff for my band and other bands, so it was like I don't know, fuck that.
Not enough time in the day, man. It seems like anymore.
Oh man, I swear to God. Not enough work anymore, though. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, with everything that's going on, you guys have had to take a back seat on touring and, just everything, I'm assuming. I mean, you guys did just release, a couple of new songs.
Yeah, we're on our third single, dropped on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a few days, 2 days in for our third single. And then, spoiler alert, there's another July 1st. That's actually going to hopefully be our biggest release because we're dropping it on Dreambound, which is pretty exciting.
What's Dreambound?
It's a YouTube channel. Like, they do, like, post-hardcore, like, melodic hardcore type stuff. But, like, there's quite a few UK bands that blew up off of Dreambound. So I don't know if you've heard of, like, Casey or Ambleside, but they, like...
Ambleside sounds familiar.
They both came from Dreambound, and so we tried to get all of our other singles to drop under Dreambound. They were like, no, we're gonna pass, and then with this one, they were like, yeah, we're in. We're like, okay, sweet.
Really? So is that just something like they're just another platform, I guess, within YouTube that's just getting they've obviously got more of an audience and stuff.
Right? Yeah.
You have to pay for that, or they just oh you do?
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about is like how much money goes into like releases and stuff like that. So like we're friends with the dudes from Not My Weekend, and we were talking to Pat about it, and it's crazy like how much money they dropped into the record label. So they signed to like We Are Triumphant Records, and then they still had to put all the money into their video releases and everything, which did really well, but they had to pay for it like pretty penny.
Is that because the company didn't want to pay for it, and so they insisted on doing it, so they had to pay for it?
Pretty much. It was like, you pay for the promotional package, we'll put it on our channel. And that was like basically what they do.
Okay.
But that's what labels That's where
do. They make money.
That's where they make money. It's like, I mean, once you sign to a label, it doesn't mean shit. It just means that you kind of have the name behind you, but you still have to pretty much take care of everything, which is...
Yeah, unless you're someone, like Post Malone coming off SoundCloud, and then all of a sudden you have this huge song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty much still in a similar position.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Brian Dunn was talking about when we were talking with him. He's a singer-songwriter in New York City. And just talking about how he hasn't had a job since high school, but he's still in charge of all of his own music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because you get signed doesn't mean that you're a celebrity, that you're a superstar, that you're gonna that sort of thing. So that's
anything, like you can get really, really like it can go the opposite way where it's like you get buried or whatever. Like we know so many homies who's like got their album shelved. It's just like we're not gonna do it right now. We're not gonna do it right now, and it's like you basically sign that record over, and now you can't even release it because
they have
rights. And then they can't. And you could have just released it yourself. So it's like we're kind of on that fence where it's like no one cares about us enough to where we want to sign, but it's like also like releasing independently is super hit or miss still. So it's
it's tough, man. That's a tough decision to make. I mean, this is like Joe Rogan talking about this. So for what it's worth, but just the whole don't give up your content kind
Yeah.
of thing. Don't give up
Totally.
your shit. That's easier said than done when you're trying to put everything you have into something creative.
Totally.
And I was thinking about it too. Just if something were to happen and they're like, okay, well we'll give you this small amount to do this. Is it worth doing that just to get the audience to bring them in? I mean, I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
I see both sides of it, but
It's a total go back and forth. Like, is it worth it? Is it gonna like? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like you're good enough, and those couple extra fans really did push like what you needed to. But sometimes it doesn't. So it's like it's hard to make those like calls sometimes.
Sure. Can you introduce your band just for the folks that don't know?
We're the band's called Sorry No Sympathy.
You guys have been together for how many years?
10.
A decade?
Damn. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we started 2010. So it's 2020. Well, and it was really Chase and I. So Chase and I started in high school, and we had members and stuff, and we were in and out of members constantly. And Kuma didn't really join until like 2011, around 2011 and beginning of 2011, something like that. So we weren't really that serious in 2010. It was like Chase and I, for the most part. He screamed over some drums, and we had no guitars or anything. And, like we had nothing.
I remember hearing about those days because Charlie knew Chase, my older brother. He knew Chase decently well at that point, and he'd been in Laramie around, I think he got there in 2009 or 2010, and I came to school in 2013. And at that point, you guys were actually playing and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
and I remember those early shows where Charlie was at a lot of those shows, and like I didn't really know him, but he had that familiar face, And
he was
just
willing.
like that one.
Yeah.
yeah. You definitely look like your brothers.
Definitely. He was like kind of one of the. He was like Abby in a way, like he didn't play a lot in the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the talent to play. He played guitar and he was really good at it, but he was like more of a proprietor, like he was a background fan that pushed the other musicians, and gave them feedback that they want to hear.
Yep.
And like was a hype man in a sense, which is cool because those are important in any music scene.
Yeah,
especially in a smaller town. I mean, Laramie's not necessarily, I guess, a small town. It is across the country, but not in Wyoming. But that is important. That's a good point.
Yeah, he was always at front of the stage, just like I mean, I'll remember his face to the day I die. Just how like he would jam, and it's like. Felt like he just had a specific way of rocking out, and I was always there's Charlie,
He's not really conservative about anything when it comes to live music. Yeah. He'll go and he'll flex in front of speakers. He'll get down. He'll jump from one side of the floor to another. It's just like he is 110% at any given time. That's always what my cousins said about him. Said Charles 110%.
As somebody playing live music, that's what you want to see, right?
Oh, yeah.
That feeds the whole show.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's crucial.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and I understand sometimes we have, like, weird parts where it's, like, because I'm the same way, like, where there's, like, a band that just is super intricate that it's, like, I can't even bang my head to because, like, I'm so enthralled with, like, what they're doing that I just, like, I want to, like, take it all in.
Absorb it, yeah.
And so, like, it's hard because I know we do that sometimes with some rhythm. So it is hard because people, like, don't know how to rock out to some of our breakdowns. But then otherwise, it's, like, it is awesome when people just don't care and like let loose. Like I don't know. It is a lot of fun when like we actually have like crazy shows that are just nuts.
I'm sure you guys have been through some ups and downs on the road. I just imagine because with the Woodpile and how like our shows were up and down on the road because it's kind of a niche genre as well in like the opposite direction.
Yeah.
With you guys, I'm assuming that there were gigs where there was just no response at all.
There was, 2 people. I remember we played a show one time. There was like 2 people and they like left, like literally. So we played to no one, like halfway through our set.
Good for you.
And like I remember we played to no one except for the other touring bands, and it was honestly one of the most fun shows because we just rocked out to them and they rocked out to us. And even though they were all of our homies, and we were like, whatever. Fuck these people, whatever, And then, on the far end of things where we open up for August Ferns Red and there's like 1,000+ people and like
Where was
It's
that
this
at?
big
was
theater.
insane.
It was in Cheyenne, actually, when we did August Burns Red. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was the venue? Which one?
It was the Atlas Theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. When was that?
2013, 2014, maybe. I don't remember. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember when that happened, and it was huge. And at the time, I was fresh into Laramie, so I was just like, those guys have got to be like doing stuff. Like they've got to be huge, you know. If you're opening for August Burns Red, I was just like, how? Like that's so insane.
That was pretty much our peak.
How'd you
man.
sneak into there?
How did we what?
How'd you sneak into that?
Oh, we had friends. Oh, so like we opened for Memphis Mayfire at the same theater, like a year or two prior or something like that. And the reason we got on that show is because we were like the local band that wasn't getting any of the slots, and they kept bringing in Colorado bands to like open up for all these big bands. And it was just like, why don't like there are so many people like, why don't you let the Wyoming bands just try? Like, why don't you let them try? And we had enough people message the booking agent, forget his name.
Hell yeah.
But they kind of forced us on there, which is like we kind of forced our way
tight.
into Memphis Mayfire.
Dude,
and then they
that's
gave
cool.
us a second shot with August Burns Red.
That's so awesome that you had such a supportive following to just be like, no, you should put these guys in, give them a shot.
Where
one
are you
time.
guys now? Come
Yeah.
on. No, it's all good. I don't give a shit about them. It's all about making
As
music.
you can, yeah. No, it's got to be about that. At the end of the day, you know, you're creating for the people, but also times change and people change, and so,
Totally.
Yeah.
It can't be anything personal. It's like you just gotta. At this point, it's like I don't even care to make music to like make it. I just want to like I love making hard music. That's all.
Yeah, dude, and that's cool. I think it's like probably an ingrained passion inside of you that is like you're never gonna stop doing it. I mean, a decade worth of effort towards perfecting your craft is like I feel like at a certain point, even if you wanted to stop, like if you tried to, you couldn't.
No, I have to have a drum studio in my house someday. You know, like there's one thing. It's like sure the band could fall apart, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like you can never give up playing at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's literally like I'll have like a horrible week or something. I'll be like, I just got to go to the studio for a minute, go to the studio for a couple hours, and then come back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I feel great.
Oh yeah, I feel that too. I'll be say I don't play the drums for like 2 to 3 days because they're in this studio, and it's not like it takes a ton of effort to get here or anything. It's just like if I don't make the effort, I'll notice like I kind of am weirdly uneasy and like pissed off, and then I come and play, and I just kind of get that, you know, like you're talking about that release,
Yeah,
the endorphins. You like feel good about what you're doing for the
totally.
most part.
Yeah, totally.
That's why I look forward to this podcast so much, man. As I come in here, and that's the same
Oh yeah,
same thing, man.
Yeah.
It just changes the dynamic of my whole week.
Yeah,
Everything changes. My brain locks in, and yeah,
feel
the week that we
motivated.
took off, I was just bored as hell.
Yeah.
My brain's going crazy. I'm thinking up all these ideas. I mean, I guess I was DMing people and trying to get guests on the podcast, but I didn't realize that until recently, I guess. So that makes a lot of sense to me, even not musically,
yeah,
but just creatively,
Yeah.
having an outlet, almost like working out.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
expend
Yeah.
some of that
talk
stuff.
talk through those ideas and like literally like just sit here and be like, I've been kind of upset lately. Like, or what? I don't know.
Could be
And
anything.
it could be anything.
Yeah, and then
seriously.
all of a sudden you start digging deep into that, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah,
I guess these are things that are subconsciously happening that I'm not really paying attention to.
yeah.
So
It's nuts.
So were you always into harder music?
Yeah, I mean, I was always into like rock and
So,
stuff like that. Like
Basically, early on, who was impactful for you? Because us, anyways, or I guess me specifically, this area, your parents, you know, play
Yeah.
some music for you, and you fall in love with it and whatever.
Totally.
But was it same that way? Was it still rock music?
you know, that's it was always like rock music. I would definitely say it was always kind of in the rock and roll realm. My parents were 80s hair metal type
Really?
people. They liked Poison and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I never really clicked with it. I'm trying to like think if like what I actually clicked with with my parents, and it's hard because I didn't really like. My mom loved Adele when Adele started popping out, and I liked Adele too. So it's like I understood that. My first concert was Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, really?
And I mean, it was a
That's
cool,
good.
it was a cool show.
Yeah.
But it was never like, this is my kind of music.
Mhm.
And I remember like getting into junior high and stuff, and like hearing 30 Seconds to Mars, The Kill, and like 3 Days Grace, and that
Got 'em
kind of,
hooked.
yeah, that kind of got me into like the rock side of things. And I was
Mhm.
like, these bands are so heavy, that's so crazy. But then I remember hearing the like Devil Wears Prada, where they're actually like screaming and like death metal almost, or like the hard metalcore stuff, and I was like, "What is this?" And I like listened to it more like ironically, because I was like, "This stuff is so scary and intense,"
Yeah.
and I would just keep listening to it, and people were like, "This is a heavy band." I was like, "You want to see a heavy band?"
Right.
And I'd show them, and then all of a sudden it was like I actually got the lyrics, and I started getting everything what was
man.
going on, and I was like, "Oh man, my taste just got heavier and heavier now," So.
It's interesting how some of it becomes almost like a parody. Cody Glasson, shout out, showed me a band called Infant Annihilator.
Yeah.
That's almost like a parody to the whole thing,
Oh.
but it's
They're
dark,
heavy and
very
dark.
They're
dark.
super
I sent
heavy and
him
dark.
some lyrics, like just randomly. I just copied and pasted them
Uh,
and sent them to him, and he was like, "Whoa, that's dark." He
Yeah.
thought that I wrote it or something.
Dude,
and I
well,
was
because
like-
I have never, when I've listened to Infant Annihilator, it's strictly for the music. Because obviously, if you're gonna want to dig into the lyrics, you got to look at them and read them
Right.
along with him screaming them.
Yeah.
Which is, a lot of times I never really did with
probably
the
in your best
harder
interest
music.
not to.
yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like the energy of the music was what drew me in more
Totally.
than anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's a big thing is when it comes to the lyrics, it's like real death metal lyrics where it talks about like killing and blood and all that stuff. It's really, I'm not into that. I'm really into the self-depriving, like depressed, like emo boy type
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
lyrics that
Sure.
are in metal in a lot of
Sure.
ways too. And like that's kind of, I feel like where we kind of sit too.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. You guys sit in that realm perfectly.
Yeah.
Chase writes some really cool stuff, I think, that is like very, like if you know Chase at all, like, and I don't know him a ton, but I do know that he's gone through some struggles just from talking to you and knowing about the band. And so, like, you can really feel that coming out in his lyricism
Yeah.
and his emotion while he's delivering.
Yeah.
Like, he really puts it out there. And I'm super, like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool to watch you guys perform. You can feel like the energy between you guys, and also like
Yeah.
just the deliver out to the audience is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and people still think we're like heavy and scary and stuff. Like my
Mhm.
mom, like always, like, have you ever thought about putting your lyrics online on like with the videos? And it's like, Mom, we do. You just don't look.
Mhm.
To be fairly honest, like I mean, they're up. You don't care enough. To be
Yeah.
honest, I love you, but you don't care. Like you don't look. That's all. And that's it with like most of my family, most people who are interested in the music. And it's like, don't listen then. I don't care. It's not for you.
Mhm.
It is for us. It's like therapy for us. You don't, it's like, well, why don't you try it? Would you ever get, yes, I would do anything musically, like I would play country if I was getting paid for it. I would play this, I play that. I don't care. But ultimately, like you don't get what we're saying and you don't have to get it because you don't take the time to get
want
it.
to.
You
to
don't
want to.
You don't get what any of these people are saying
Yeah.
half the time. Like you don't get what Dave Matthews is saying.
That's what I'm saying. And
mean-
it's like almost kind of hypocritical in that way where it is like, well, what bands do you think are saying something specific? And then like you look up the lyrics, you're like, oh, I thought he was saying something different. Like, yeah, totally. Well, what's that one? That one Blink-182 song.
That gets confused all the time. There's
Yeah.
a few of them.
There's quite a few of them, but there's like a lyric that's like I don't know, I forget what the lyric is, but he was, yeah. Anyways,
For example,
man.
there's an Elton John song.
Oh,
What is it? Rocket Man.
yeah.
yeah,
Burning out his fuse up here alone,
Uh-huh.
and everybody's got some other bullshit that
Yeah,
they
they
thought
had
it
a
said for
commercial
years and
for
years.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, half the time you don't even know what the actual words are listening to it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I guess in some instances it's open for interpretation, however it makes you, the listener, feel. But ultimately, I mean, it's written by somebody who has an experience that fed this whole thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like from what I've seen from interviews from bands over the years is that like a lot of bands will really like people to understand exactly what they're saying and where the music's coming from. They want it to be implemented that this is why this is the way it is. But
Mhm.
other bands are like, no, like I wrote this and I love when people take it to the next level of their interpretation,
Yeah.
like internally of what they're feeling versus it being like about what I was feeling it. They interpret it in their own way. That is better. Which for me personally, I feel like I would choose the latter these days. But like towards the start of me writing music, I really wanted people to understand what I was saying at the time. But for me writing, I tend to like go towards more vague lyricism anyways. So that gives the interpretation automatically for people to take and run with. So I just feel like that's whatever way it is, I feel like it's cool to that music can and lyricism and all of it can just take you to where it should for you personally. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm fully in like I love instrumental for that reason. And, like really ambient, like If These Trees Could Talk type bands that are just like super progressive, like storytelling type music that have no lyrics because it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe. And it's so hard to explain where it's like,
No, yeah.
oh man, I want to go hike and put this tune on for a little bit and just like feel it. That's it, like sometimes it's as deep as that, I feel that.
That's definitely a common thing. I just don't know if it's a conscious decision people make, but people definitely act in that manner constantly.
Yeah.
Because that's the brain interprets music that way and takes you back to, I guess, some sort of brain screen grab of what's going on, where you were at the time you heard it. And I mean, there's so many levels to it that I'm glad you said that because people don't consciously think of that. They just put on a playlist and they just go.
Yeah.
But no, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because certain people, when you're listening, you think that like, I don't know. This is something for me that I find because I obviously have delved so heavily into like analytics with music. Like I'm just analyzing shit all the time and like trying to pick out parts and like listen to stuff. And then like I talk to people about that, like that aren't doing the same thing. I expect them to like understand what I'm talking about. Some people are like, dude, I'm just listening. Like this I just feel this. I don't know. I just like it. I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, I don't know why I'm making this so complicated.
That's what's super funny is like seeing like where like because you went to school for music and like for me I can feel that separation of like, oh man, I don't necessarily like you are very technical like when it comes to the drums and I'm like, oh, I want you to show me that, and like I was like always just kind of the rock guy who just like kind of just kept self-teaching myself.
Yeah.
So it's funny that like to hear you be like, well, I kind of sometimes wish I could just turn my brain off. And for me, it's like, God, I'm trying so hard sometimes to turn my brain on. But I understand, like, that whole, like, it can, wherever you're at, you're kind of wanting something else out of it, where it's like, let me let go.
Never
or,
satisfied.
like, let me, yeah, there's something interesting about fucking making music, dude.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's weird. It's like, it takes your brain into some crazy stuff mentally, like, towards what you're, at least what you're pushing for, like you said, there's never a satisfaction, at least for me. It's like I can't just live in that moment of like happiness of just playing. I'm always like constantly overanalyzing it, which kind of sucks. I wish I could turn it off, like you said. But I used to be that way. Before I got to college, that was me. Like I was playing not like the same music, but I was playing hard music. It was double bass all the time. The China cymbal was always set up. I had a 5-piece bare minimum. Now you look over there, that's like way more of like a jazz-esque like funk kit now. So it's and that was a lot because of the training that I received. But the whole reason I went to music school was so I could get better at music. I didn't know what my career path was going to take me. I still don't, but I do know that all I want to do is just keep playing and keep progressing. So
I feel that, dude. It's intense.
Oh yeah,
I love it. I would love to have several kits because I'd love. I'd love to have like a funk kit. I'd love to have like a 20 fucking piece like metal kit that has like
you've got those
tension.
racks that are above and you've got like those rototoms
dude,
just like all sorts
I'd love
of shit.
to just have like a shredder's kit and then have like a really stripped down jazz kit on top of like maybe a big John Bonham type rock kit which is big drums
dude.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah dude, that would be tight. And I really like your little small, what is that, the Tama, what is it, Catalina? No.
Oh, yeah, the Club Jam.
Club Jam, yeah. Catalina's Gretsch. Yeah, that's right.
I love that, little Club Jam, too, honestly.
Dude, it sounds good. And the videos you've put out with it I like the sound of that drum set. I like the sound of your big kit, too. That bingo kit is sick.
Yeah, it's almost like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I love that kit, and I like it's every time I take it out on tour, and it's like you see all these other kits, and then I like look at my kit, and I'm like, God damn, it is the nicest kit I've ever played, and ever I feel like will play. But also, it's like I don't want to take it out on tour anymore because it's like it's getting some road wear, and it's getting dusty, and it sits in the studio that we share with Not My Weekend, and I know people beat on it and stuff, and like
That
it's
hurts.
been recorded with a couple times, and I watched this kid scratch the fuck out of it with dropping a cymbal on it one time, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like what?" But I have nowhere else to put
Oh,
it, and I just want to play it, so it's like I guess I just gotta bite the bullet.
that
For
hurts, dude. Show
Mm.
some respect.
It's-
God.
Yeah, what's it like when someone just sits down? Because listen, any normal human sees a drum set, they sit down. Okay, they pick up the
Yeah,
sticks
dude.
and they start dicking around.
oh yeah,
So what's it feel like
What does it
when
feel
someone
like?
sits down at your shit and starts banging shit around?
It depends on who it is
Yeah.
and how well you know them.
yeah,
Because like a friend that you're really chill with could mess something up, and you're like, okay, like it's fine. But
Yeah.
then like some rando comes up to you and they're like, "Can I play your drum set?" And you're like, "Yeah, go ahead, like sure." And then you watch them and you're like, "Ooh, ooh," and then something happens and you're like,
yeah. Or like my favorite, not my favorite. Fucking hate this. When I'm on tour and I set my kid up like outside the venue.
Mhm.
And like there's like clearly no one's playing anything because you're outside or like inside a venue, so you're not supposed to be playing your shit as loud as you can. I'll have a practice pad or something on my kit, and I'll just kind of like be doing like warm-ups or whatever, and like sometimes like I've had some people be like, can I just jam on it a little bit? It's like sure, and they'll sit down and they're like real soft and they like know what they're doing. I'm like, not bad, all right, cool.
Mm.
But, let's say 19 times out of 20, someone sits down and is just like, it's some kid who, like, he's in a rock band and all he does is know how to wail the fuck out of cymbals. And he's just like,
"Oh yeah."
and
oh,
it's
yeah.
like, dude, like, we're outside and I'm like gonna get in trouble for like you jam. No, get the fuck off my kit. You don't know what you're doing. And it's like,
He's noodling.
I'm too nice, so I like let too many people know. But now it's like when I go on the road, it's like no, I'm kind of a dick now, and I understand. Like,
Yeah, I
when,
would
like,
just cringe.
Ah,
Watch it. Like,
I've
I
honestly
swear.
never had anyone ask to play my drums the entire time we have been doing this. I mean, maybe there has been someone that I don't recall, but that people don't ask to touch, which is weird because those are pieces of potty. That is the same kid I've had since I was 12, and
Because-
I'm 26.
God,
so
I've been begging for it. Been begging to get him a new kit.
he wants to buy me one. I wish he could afford it.
I have been
You
like,
deserve it so much.
I've
man.
been looking at like some SJC kits because it's like, in a sense, like they look nice, but I also don't think they're killer shells. Like they're a dime a dozen for the maple shells. They sound decent. They sound good. Like they're in how many fucking bands' arsenals. Like
Mhm, mhm.
Slipknot uses them, and
Oh, yeah.
like all these huge bands use them. But like if it gets scratched and banged up, it's like you can order another one pretty
Yeah.
easily if you were really that concerned. That's why I've been looking at them. But like with my Birch Babinga, it's like, well,
That's gonna be a time sake because they stopped making Babinga
Yep.
drums.
Babinga.
they don't make
That
them
sounds
anymore.
like a
Literally,
drum.
I bought the last like series, like the last year they made them from that kit, and it's like that price. Literally, what I paid for it is like what I could sell it for now, still, which is crazy. So it's like I'm not getting rid of it.
And as it ages, it will appreciate. I can guarantee it.
Oh,
So you should definitely take care of that kid. I think you're on the right mind space for
Yeah.
that. I don't think that's.
It's great for the
Yeah.
studio. We did the whole record with the Birch Babinga kit, like all my drums. I did my hand hammered steel and all the Birch Babinga for our record. And I mean, you
Sounds
tell me,
killer, dude.
yeah, so
I thought that the other day when I was listening. I was like, dude, the drums are.
Mhm.
They sound really good right
Yeah.
now, and that makes me happy being a drummer.
Birch Babinga and Evans EC2s, they're fucking killed.
EC2s are a great fit for metal. I
Yeah,
feel like
I
and
agree.
rock. They just sing in the right like space that they
Mhm.
need to. They work well.
Yeah.
EC2s are like, do you use the clear or the frosted?
I use the clear.
They have like a frosted, like textured part, and they have like a dampening ring built in around. It's like
Oh, okay.
I've had them before. I don't use them on this kit now. So I kind of went more towards the softer stuff. But
Yeah.
I think that I like the way that the clear ones sing out more than the frosted for what you're doing specifically.
Yeah,
think
I
you made the right
agree. And,
choice.
I mean, I've been kind of playing with Aquarian recently for live setting, and I really actually kind of like them.
Sure.
And I've been doing some of the coded heads. Like there's like a.
You've been watching Eric Moore, haven't you?
Yes, exactly. I bought he has the what is it? The Response or whatever, or Reflector series. That's his signature series. And so I bought the Reflector snare head, and that thing is a monster.
I'm sure it is.
I
Dude.
love it, dude. And yeah, Eric Moore is exactly the reason why I've been playing Aquarium.
Oh yeah, he's a big time hip hop drummer, and he's like one of those dudes that you watch him play, and his chops are literally he doesn't stop, and he's got his own style to the point to where it's like you can try to emulate it, and I'm sure a lot of people can, but there are a select few because small, tiny notes, just intricate as hell, going the entire time, and he's flying around the kit really fast. He's a super big dude, but like he rips it on the kit, like. He's really fun to watch. But yeah, should we reel it in to some? We're just getting off on nerd drum stuff.
Dude,
that's the thing. I could talk drums for the rest of my life.
Do you want to talk about the video?
Yeah,
dude, that crushed me when she showed us that here, and we sat down and watched it. Number one, it's a hell of a job by you, and I told you that already. But
thanks, man.
The timing of it, she made a good point when she said, well, this obviously didn't get put together last week.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been in the making. And so there's some deep history in this, and I know a lot of people know of the situation, but don't maybe recall it. Because, like, when I was watching the video and then I seen the little cam footage, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a crazy, crazy video. Incredible song, too, by the way. It's not just about the video.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you want to speak on that at all, I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but
it was kind of an intense feeling putting that thing together. Not gonna lie, I was like pretty depressed putting that stuff together because like watching, cutting literally the specific parts together was like not fun, honestly. And it was just like played into your mood. I mean, Chase was pushing for it super hard. Like I said, I think something that I like pride myself in our band for is like I like the kind of self-depriving type lyrics. Like we are kind of tired of like guys whining about girls type thing. It's like you should start looking inside yourself, like reflecting on yourself, and that's like where I think most of our lyrics sit. But this song is totally politically like about police brutality and stuff. And Chase really pushed hard for that, and we were like not in agreement. Like all of us weren't in agreement at first for like all of that because for me personally and like some of the other members, it's like I want to say it right, like I'm such a neutral type person that like I can't sit here and just be like, yo, fuck like all the police or whatever, But with everything going on lately, I've kind of definitely been feeling more of that. It's like
it's pretty easy to say.
Yeah, it's like it's easy to just like I think it's as bad as like grouping a whole group of people into one group where it's like, well, all police are bad. And it's like I've known several people who have helped me quite a bit, but it's all about accountability, But also when it comes to rock music, sometimes it's about shocking your audience and waking up and, really pushing for that. And when he came out to the lyrics and like, funny enough, this was the last song we wrote for the EP. And like, it was the only song that we wrote from a programming aspect. So like Kuma recorded it and then sent it to me. So like all of our songs, we jam out. And I was like, okay, this is how the song goes. This is how the song goes. And then when we get to the studio, we like have a map out for like this many bars for this at this tempo-ish. I don't know, with the producer. And then the producer's like, okay. And then we kind of play through it and like structure it. And with this song, we recorded it. We had a map for it. I programmed the drums to it. So I already knew exactly like what rhythms I was playing. I knew like the fills were like programmed in, and I had to like actually learn from the program. And then when we got, it was a month later, we were in the studio. So it was our last song that we wrote, and Chase wasn't done with the lyrics. So the last day that he was doing vocals, he sat in the studio literally like all day. Like we all finished recording, all of us were done. He was done with primarily most of the vocal tracking. And I remember we were all like just drinking beers with our producer, throwing frisbees. Like Chase just had to write it because he wasn't done. And then he like showed us the lyrics and like put it all together. We're like, damn, dude, this is
Shit
intense.
hits, yeah.
And I kind of applaud him for it because I think what's great is he still kind of put a lot of that those extreme thoughts on himself. And I've kind of talked to him about this, about like, you know, like he goes, the one where he says, "I want to see more white cops 6 feet deep inside of a pine box," and then it like pauses, and he goes, "If that's what it takes to make the hurting stop," and it's like, damn, that's actually true. Like in a lot of ways, sadly, like if you think of like the movie Law Abiding Citizen,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like he starts capping people for like that were like wrongfully accusing
Yeah.
like his case and stuff. And it's like sadly like you don't want to bring violence into things, but it's like if that's what it's gonna take, if it's gonna take a war in a way, like it's gonna have to be. And like I kind of applaud him for like kind of going back and forth. Like he has that other line, and I think it's my favorite line in the whole song, where he says, "I see murder and I feel more violent." And it's like, damn, that's true though. Like you're kind of causing, in
Right.
a way, these people to act out. Like if you
Right.
don't take control, you're causing others to act out. That's why, you know, it's like there's no neutrality in that sense. Like you are causing this because you're not taking the right precaution.
Right.
So
The very strange thing
sure.
to me, and I don't have any right answers by any means. I think anybody that says they do have right answers is a fucking liar.
agreed.
But there's something to be said about these just SWAT teams showing up with a bunch of people and expecting nothing to happen. Like you expect you're just gonna have law and order and like you're just gonna scare everybody, or no, people are gonna start going nuts.
Yeah.
And cops are gonna start beating people down, and people are gonna start beating down cops, and it's a never ending thing.
And everyone's argument is, well, they're scared for their life. Well, you're making other people scared for their lives. That's why they're acting out and making you scared for your life. You get what you give, you know? And so the thing is so we had our friend Robbie Ramirez, who was schizophrenic, and his mother came into the police department and like literally was like, you gotta like know how to handle schizophrenia people because you can't just be trigger happy with these types of people. So she had like a whole like talk with like all of the police force in Laramie when he was diagnosed. And he was pulled over by Derek Calling. And Derek Calling already had reputation in Vegas. He beat this guy in Vegas, and that's why he lost his job with the LVPD.
Did that guy end up dying?
Robbie?
No, the guy in Vegas that he beat down.
No. But he did kill a 15-year-old kid in Vegas who had a butter knife against his mom's throat or whatever, and he was schizophrenic and or something like that. But the mom was like, don't shoot. He's just got to calm down, blah, blah, blah. And then Derek shot him. And so she's like, even that mom was like, I'm scared for anyone who hires him. And he came back to Laramie and was hired at the sheriff's department in Laramie. And then he killed Robbie Ramirez and he shot him in the back. Robbie did so he got out of his car and pulled a taser on Robbie. And as soon as Robbie got tasered, Robbie turned around and started pushing him off of him. And that's when he pulled his gun and shot him. So it was like, in a way that everyone's defense is that, well, he attacked Derek at that point and he can pull a gun. Well, Derek should have waited for his backup. And everyone was like, well, he could have pulled a gun. I was like, well, that's the risk you take. You got to hide.
That's what you sign up for.
That's what you
as
sign
a
up
police
for.
officer. That's what you sign up for, is to lay it on the line. Whether you as a citizen think that, well, they should have done this or done that, that's what they sign up for.
Yeah.
They sign up for the opportunity to either make a big impact on the community and be positive, but they also sign up for being in a situation where things can go south.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no different than signing up, I guess, for like the military.
Right.
The risk going into it. The thing when you said he got tased and stuff that gets me is that it seems to me that if you are tased, everything's kind of involuntary at that point.
Yeah.
Like your body is like
it's human,
just going crazy
it's
because
human
it's
reaction.
got volts going through it. Yeah. So I don't know that even if that were to happen, if someone could voluntarily, I guess, unless you're like my size maybe and you can withstand a taser, I don't know how that's possible.
Well, and it
medically.
still went against pretty much everything. They went to school together. He knew who Robbie Ramirez was. They went to high school together, and they played on the same soccer team and all that stuff. So he was aware. He's aware of his schizophrenia. And so I'm sure, like, some people, well, if he was schizo, that's, of course, I would act the same way. I was just like, no, you're still acting, like, in that sense, you need to back off. Like, his mom came in and gave you guys a talk about, like, how to do this. So his mom's, like, obviously devastated about how everything played out. And so pretty much this whole song is generally about Derek specifically and how he basically got a promotion. A lot of people were like, he's not in the police force anymore. And he's like, no, he's a detective now. And he's not being held accountable. He's a real estate agent in town. And he also teaches like a Krav Maga class in town. And it's like, there's just something so like crazy about it because there's also a gal who gave us the footage to use for the music video.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because Abby kind of explained it to us.
Yeah, so the ACOPP, which is like the Albany County of Proper Policing.
Is that a community-funded organization?
I'm not exactly sure.
Because that's cool that they do that.
It's something new that I learned about it from Chase, and Chase is now working directly with them. And the gal who runs it, she has talked about how Derek specifically has been stalking her. Like when her husband leaves town, that he like parks out front of her house, be like, I know where you live, type stuff. So he's a piece of garbage, a goddamn piece of shit. Like, and like honestly, making the video was very nerve-wracking because like now I have a lot of ties to the video, but also it's like I'm kind of making it for everyone, and like kind of a lot of it was like, this is my idea, let's use news clips, and everyone was like, that's great. And then the band sent me all the news clips because I kind of refused to like do the research,
go search in the web for
like I didn't know exactly where to go. I was like, you send me the clips that you want in there, we'll make it A, easier on me, and B, like I don't know where I'm going to be standing when we drop this video because Chase is a tough dude. Like he's very outspoken and honest, and I'm kind of a scared little bitch about this whole thing. And like I'm nervous about it. I'm still
as you
nervous
should be,
because I feel like a dangerous human being that is literally walking around our community. And I don't like that. I really don't. And so, honestly, I know I'm not the only one that feels that way, though.
Mm-hmm.
I know half of our town feels that way. And we have protesters and stuff that are out there doing that. So, I got all this footage and I started cutting it together. And, yeah, it was a fun project for the most part.
Powerful.
But it's powerful. But
very powerful.
Intense.
Definitely. Would you say that the reaction that Laramie has given towards the whole Black Lives Matter movement is like a part of like this whole thing with Derek calling? Because I feel like he because all this happened before all the
2012
the Black Lives
right?
Matter happened.
Yeah, so it's a when it was, I think it was, maybe it's about 2017 that Robbie was killed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was recently.
It was super recent.
I'm curious if you think that the mindset of people, like why Laramie is so like willing to like just like be there for the protesting, because I've noticed like I'm not living there anymore, but I've been like seeing it on social media. I think it's cool that like everyone's so involved with it in town for being in Wyoming, you know? And I just am curious if you think that that is a part of the reason why.
It is a part. I've been to I've only been to one, to be fairly honest, and I should go to more, but I'm also like, by the time I get off work, it's like they're halfway done. I'm starving, so I like go home, and then by the time I'm ready to go out, it's over.
Sure.
So it's like really, I can't. It's like been kind of hard to like make it to anything unless it's on the weekends. But there are a bunch of chants about Robbie and fire calling. I mean, like half of the crowd has hashtag fire calling on it. They've already talked to the what is it, the court and everything about fire and calling, and they said they will not because they can't bring it back up without probable cause and all this stuff. So it's like everyone's still pissed, and now they're actually starting to arrest people in Laramie who are in the streets, which is stupid because they made a statement saying they're gonna arrest people or they're gonna warn and then cite.
I saw a video about
do the
that.
citations, and when they started arresting, they didn't warn or cite; they just grabbed and arrested. So they're already going against their word, and then on top of that, like Officer Terry, he was making statements. Well, if you're going to be in the street, we're going to arrest you. And then he claimed to say that he's going to arrest protesters being in the plaza if there's like, or the Coal Creek Plaza and like on sidewalk too. And everyone was like, "That's all right." And he's like, "I never said that." And it was like, "You just said it." That video.
I saw that video.
Oh man, and it fired me up, dude.
See, and that's just a small sample of why people distrust cops in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's so many levels to this shit. It's so much deeper than Black Lives Matter. It's so much deeper than all this shit. It's police brutality. It's police overstepping their boundaries and having this power complex.
Blue takes care of blue.
Treating people as if they're superior to them because they have a badge, and like there's just so much to this that it's unfortunate that there's so many different narratives that people want to take off of this because it's police as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's their relationship with the community as a whole.
If you want to be, serving, protecting, and saving people, it's like it has to be addressed in a different way. And like I've talked a lot with my mom about this and the fact that it is a lot to do with wording. And I feel like they do that in a big purpose, like the whole defund the police. And
Right.
I understand like so many people are upset about that because it's like you can't get rid of all of police, the whole policing system. And then some people like really want that, but then it's like literally the like definition of defund means to get rid of, but also that's not what the defund actually stands for at the moment. It means like basically reallocating specific funds into training or having mental health professionals de-escalate situations, but people take it as like, you can't get rid of police. It's like, that's not what they're saying. You're not fucking reading like what's going on. You know what I mean? This is probably the most I've ever said about it right now because it's like, I'm trying not to be ignorant about it, and I'm trying to like, not because that's a big thing is one day you'll say something and then the next day I feel like I contradict my own self, and it's like that's why it's so hard to speak up.
Because you don't have to die on every hill. You can be wrong. You can be misled. You can be there's so much to it. And that's another big problem is that people refuse to acknowledge that you're most likely not having all the facts. You're not presented all the facts. You're not 100% correct. You're not the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is that there's just such a disconnect between both. And you've got, especially in our state specifically, I guess, our generation is far more progressive, obviously, than our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this huge disconnect all over the place between police and generations. And
it's dividing families and friends and everything because everyone has all these different opinions and are hearing and reading different things. What's the truth anymore? Like, you don't know the truth.
Yeah, it's crazy. We live in some interesting times for sure. I mean, we're going to look back on this probably 20 years from now and things are going to be either way more crazy or way more lax, whatever it is. But it's just interesting to like think about where things are going right now. I think that it is a positive step towards moving forward as a race and not just like in America, but like around
the human race.
Yeah, just we need to, I think we need to be looking at how we should be holding our, not just the police, but everyone accountable for their actions because now things are being filmed. Now things are coming out like sexual predators, like whatever it is. People are now starting to have justice be taken towards these animals that like live in our communities, and I think that's an incredibly important thing for us to have as we move forward as people. So I think that it's a good thing. It's just obviously like really tough for like you said, the difference in generations to like get along and try to like be on the same page.
It's because there's such a team mentality, there's a mob mentality that's super primal that you have to be in a group. You've got to be a group of. That's not how you make change. That's not how you're going to change things in our country. I mean, you've got to take the stance of, okay, yeah, black lives do matter. White lives matter. All lives matter. That's not a conversation even to have. There's no reason to even discuss that.
Yeah.
The point is there's a fucked up relationship between the people that control our community, the people that control our state, the people that control our country, and the people that have to live in it. And the only way that you're going to enact any change is by not doing what we've already done.
Yeah.
We've rioted. We've burned shit down.
Well,
people have killed cops. Cops have killed people. Nothing has changed. There's still police brutality. Rodney King riots. I mean, Rodney King got the shit beat out of him. Like, if you haven't seen that video, which I don't know how you haven't, but if you haven't, go watch it because that's make you sick to your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's still going on. It's still going on today, whether you're black, white, or brown.
Well, and that's part of like the whole argument of like, well, those people shouldn't be walking in the streets or whatever because, you know, you're disrupting like people who aren't a part of it and need to go somewhere. Like my mom is on kind of on that thing. And I was like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but no change is going to happen. If you're not frustrated, then you don't care. To be like,
it doesn't affect you.
It doesn't affect you because it doesn't affect anyone if they're just sticking to the sidewalks. So that's why they moved to the streets. It's still peaceful. And that's why, like, you got to go around it then. Like, you got to figure out a way around it.
As the police, you go out there and you start arresting people and saying you're going to ticket them and cite them or whatever. And you're going to go out there and start arresting people. Then it gets confrontational. And then people are pissed and people start breaking shit. And then they're all wondering why shit's burning to the ground.
Exactly. It's just,
so
it's silly.
It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it's like constant tornado of shit that just keeps stirring. Like, it just stirs. Like, just going in a mad circle. You could talk in circles about it, you know, this point, and this point, and this point. It's like, when does it end? Like, it doesn't. I don't know. It's like kind of losing a lot of faith in humanity, you know? It's like, God damn.
Well, it's tough because the people that are on the other side of this, the people, the Blue Lives Matter or the cops or whoever you want to, whatever group you want to put into it, don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
There's just a disconnect. And I guess people on the other side don't want to have the conversation either. They're just pissed off. They're pissed off. They've been cooped up in their house and they want to fuck shit up. But I mean, I don't have any real ideas. I just bitch. So.
No. So, see, and that's why it's like I'm kind of right there with you. It's like I don't know what to do. I really don't.
Does.
I'm trying to, but it's like speaking up on it. I don't know. It's like just a musician, man. I didn't expect that I had to have such, you know, like.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's like I don't know what to do, dude.
But I think it's cool because you guys are kind of a staple in the music scene, even though you're in the underground and have been for a long time, just based on the genre. But you're a staple in the Laramie scene, and I think that it's important that you guys have done this just because of the fact that now you will rise more attention from maybe. Even if it's only a handful of people, now people are engaged more and they're seeing this and seeing that video and seeing the violence and like, it's very captivating. I think obviously it was very hard for you to do. I would be in the same position thinking how stressful it would be to like put that together, but it is extremely, I think it's a great thing what you guys have done. Like you're putting light to something that, like Blaine said, people don't want to see, they don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But something has to be changed.
But that's the problem with the news cycle, man, is like, I remember it happening, but as soon as I seen that little clip of the ranger in the video, I was like, holy shit, I remember watching that. I forgot about that. Even though that's like a form of police, whatever you want to call it, police brutality at home, where we don't really deal with that shit. I mean, I'm sure we do, but not on the scale of everybody else. So even at a time where I just said the other day, like we don't have much relatable shit for police brutality. Like I have experience with them maybe overstepping their bounds and maybe targeting people and shit like that. But it was a click in my brain of, oh yeah, no, this hits home too. This hits home for everybody, which I before didn't say that. Yeah. So just like what you said, you know, flip-flopping on what you're saying, but you got to admit to be wrong, you know?
Yeah. You can't convince me they're here to serve and protect until someone in your life gets shot straight in the fucking head.
Not to mention, how are they here to protect when they don't show up until something's already happened?
Yeah, that's true.
What are you protecting?
Yeah.
You're just a responder at that point.
Yeah, and that's first responders, dude. That's nuts, dude. Yeah, banging. That's what I'm talking about.
Pulled it out, man. Well,
plug it up?
Is there anything else? Yeah, we want to talk about. You want to plug yourself on Instagram, band, and yourself?
Well, my Instagram handle is Blaise BLAISE _SNS. Then Sorry No Sympathy, which is just actually SRYNOSYMPTY. So it's like Sorry No Sympathy, like
No
it's
sympathy.
just like the acronym.
That matches your guys' logo, though.
Yeah,
right?
that's why we did it and everything. So yeah, that's all that. Follow us on like Spotify and stuff, and hire me for music videos if you're interested. To be fairly honest.
That's another big reason why I was excited for you to come here, because like I have the aspirations for these guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have any musical talent, but
and that's something to talk about. I mean, when it comes to like even like podcasts, I'm working with a guy in town in Laramie who's he's got a podcast, and he talked about I kind of want to make like a little trailer, and I was like, maybe we do a little intro or something. Like you make the music, I'll make the like quick little clip or whatever, and then like branding and stuff. So it's like I do logos, I do everything in that realm of like design. We could team up if you ever needed anything. So
I
assume that goes for everybody watching and
honestly.
listening as well.
yeah. No, and that's what's up. And after this, I can show you the video dropping on July 1st too, if you want.
So yeah, go check it out. Check out that what's the name of the song?
Strange Fruit, like the Billie Holiday song.
That's right. So yeah, check that out. It's powerful. Share that shit like a shotgun.